Where are we? Didn't I already read this one? Let's see. What's today? Here's the 15th. Yes, I did. Oh, my bookmark. See if I can get it. Got it. All right, I'm on this one. Heighten the Experience. In Marcel Proust's novel Remember the Things Past, the character Swan finds himself gradually seduced by a woman who is not really his type. He is. What is that word? Aesthete? Aesthete. I've never seen that word. Whatever that is, that's what he is. And loves the finer things in life. I think it's like the root word of aesthetic. Interesting. And loves the finer things in life. She is of a lower class, less refined, even a little tasteless. What poeticizes her in his mind is a series of exuberant moments they share together, moments that from then on he associates with her. One of these is a concert in a salon that they attend, in which he is intoxicated by a little melody in a sonata. Whenever he thinks of her, he remembers this little phrase. Little gifts she has given him, objects she has touched or handled, begin to assume a life of their own. You must find a way to share such moments with your targets, a concert, a play, a spiritual encounter, whatever it takes, so that they associate something elevated with you. Shared moments of exuberance have immense seductive pull, so any kind of object on the so any object can be imbued with poetic resonance and sentimental associations. The gifts you give and other objects can become imbued with your presence if they are associated with pleasant memories. The sight of them keeps you in mind and accelerates the poeticization process. Daily law, any kind of heightened experience, artistic or spiritual, lingers in the mind much longer than normal experience. That's from the Art of Seduction. Poeticize your presence. That's right. It's like an enchantment. And then anything that that you charge with your energy becomes part of the spell. All right. Ready to go. Darn it. I had more dreams and I had one right when I woke up that I wanted to talk about. And from the moment I got ready to the time I got in the car, it's completely gone. Yeah, it's gone. Damn. Okay. Where's my drink? There it is. There's the clicker. There's that. That's about it. Man, that's not going to leave me with much to talk about on this video. So, I don't know. Let's see. Sure, everything is cleared and action. Let's see, how is that used in the world? I wanted to say that maybe somehow that type of tactic is used in like media, seduce you into believing certain things about maybe political, I don't know, political sides of the spectrum. Either way, but they tend not to. That it's not a seduction tactic when it comes to the media. It's more of a. It's much more forceful. Seems like all things surrounding seduction are more elegant. It's a little bit more nuanced, and you want it to be very subtle. There's nothing subtle about media today. It's like brute force seduction. Pastel marquee. Nice cold mate. That's hilarious. Somebody's taking a picture of them. So they're sitting in their car, and all I see is like a hand go up, and like a light start to shine. I guess they're taking a picture of themselves or videoing something. Everybody's got something going on. You don't see many people walking at this time of the morning. There were like two women under the underpass taking a stroll. You can see them walking that way through the lights. I tell they were women. They had like dresses on. It's very interesting to see that this early in the morning. Where are you going? All dressed up. That's interesting. It's not like they were ladies of the night. They weren't dressed like that. It looked like summer dresses, kind of. It's weird. It's already warm. It's going to be very hot today. Have more tea. Yeah, like all these subtle tactics that I'm reading, because this whole section of the book seems to be from the art of seduction. I used none of these when I courted my woman. There was no subtlety. I don't even know how it worked, but it did. All right, let's take the rest of that. But I get the idea, because if you're direct, the memory of the seduction is not of their own idea, and how this is being kind of explained, these kinds of maneuvers, it creates the seduction in their mind. Like the attraction becomes their own, which makes sense. Like you want the idea to start in their head. You don't want them to get the idea because of you. You want them to get the idea because of them. If that makes sense. It's like you're making them do something that they think they're doing on their own. That kind of idea. And I guess from that perspective, that is how the media works. That's the whole idea of the nudge. I think I talked about that in another video. Nudge theory. It's like planting that small seed for other people to grow in whatever direction you want them to take in terms of how they think or the things they do. That's the whole idea behind the nudge. It's like they're right there at the precipice. All they need is a little nudge, and that gets them to go. Like, for instance, January 6th at the Capitol. Nobody was trying to get into the building. And if you see the videos, nobody there was being violent or doing any kind of damage to the surroundings of the grounds of the building itself, until you see like these very specifically dressed people. You see them start to smash a window, and then they kind of just will smash a window and wait. This is before they got into the building. I saw these videos, and they don't circulate very widely, but I've seen this with my own eyes. And they look like feds. And like they wanted the people to start smashing windows, so they'll smash one, and then you see them like turn around, like look at the crowd. It was very interesting. That was a nudge, that kind of act, because they want the group think to set in, and all they needed to do is initiate it with an act. Oh man, that Prius, brand new Prius, but it's the brake lights. It's all the whole running lights behind the car are out. I've been seeing that a lot recently. Kind of concerning. Like more often than I should be seeing that. Anyways, back to the Capitol. So everybody was there, just having their moment. No one was trying to get into the building until they opened the doors. That's the nudge, opening those doors. That's the best way to explain. That's why you should stay away from protests. Because it's easy to, may start out peaceful, but you could turn that sucker violent with just a nudge. Throw one rock at a cop. Or say one thing with enough energy to incite action. Let's see, how might I have used any of this with my woman at the very beginning? I'm not too sure. I just remember being really attracted to her energy, like her laugh and her smile. Even when I'd see her, she'd be interacting with like other employees, and her laugh was very attractive. Her eyes are gorgeous. So I was attracted to her right away, but I didn't have any there was no idea there yet for me and her until other elements in my life started to take shape. And I was like, fuck all that. I'm done with that. How did that work? We were just friends, kind of hanging out after work a little bit. I guess I started to get the idea in my mind, like this one's perfect, because I was fascinated by her to begin with my current woman before we became a couple. Just talking to her, once we started talking, that's what kind of fascinated me about her, because she was like, how she is so different than anybody that I've ever met in my whole entire life. You are all the same. She is different. Matter of fact, I'm probably more like the rest of the world, much more, even now, than she is. Like, I know I'm a lot different now than I used to be, but even so, I'm still much more like the normies than she is. And that's what attracted me to her. I mean, other than the fact that she's sexy as hell. She's, yeah. That's how that began. It picked up pace rather quickly. The circumstances kind of pushed us together in an extreme way. Almost like a test, really. Like, okay, you guys are doing this. Let's see. Let's see how much you guys really want to do this. And we made it out through that. And the only reason, really, I'm thinking about all this too is I redid kind of like, I used AI to interview myself about my life, and it took a very interesting route, because I did that one time before, and it conducted it more like an interview, starting from my childhood and moving forward to present day. This one started out with very specific events that it wanted to know about. It asked me like about an apex event in my life, and then it kind of just blossomed from there. The whole conversation, the whole interview, it was very interesting. So that's why I guess most of this is on my mind. I talked about my relationship with my woman, how all that began. Man, it's warm in here. I want to put a window down, but it's a little loud. So yeah, I guess there wasn't much of these like seduction methods used in terms of our relationship when it first began. But like I think I've said before, in like in these videos, these kind of methods of seduction are, it seems like more like a game is being played, and I don't like the gamification of like I guess I take it too serious for it to be a game. Maybe it's when it comes to my like personal relationship, and I don't want it to seem like I'm just playing a game. So I guess that's why I don't do these things. But I can see how it's useful. You know, if you're a certain type of person, But if you're the type of person I think to like to play these like seduction games, like you're gonna be doing that with like more than one woman. You're not gonna just it's to like conquer a woman really, or like get them in the bed, whatever. And at that point, you're not trying to keep them. You're just trying to conquer them, and then on to the next one. Because once you've reached the top of that mountain, okay, there. Where's the next one? Because that's the game, and that's the part I don't necessarily agree with. That's not my thing. Because what it seems like to me is like I know guys envy other guys who like are able to get a lot of women, have like long lists of people they've slept with, but it seems like that type of guy that has like a huge body count, they don't know how to maintain a relationship. Like they've never stayed with anybody long enough to really have a relationship set in. I don't think they could keep a woman for very long, to be honest. That's a whole nother art. Someone should have wrote a book about that. Like, how do you keep it going? Like, how do you keep them interested? Because once the new car smell, so to speak, wears off, like, how do you keep them interested in you? How do you know that, like, some other guy's just not gonna catch their interest, and then you're just the old car. Look at this new one. This one's got new features. That's why I like my woman, because I don't think any of these tactics will work on her. She's too perceptive. She's very sharp. Maybe that's why my direct approach threw her off. She's like, wait a minute. This guy doesn't play games like the other one. I don't know. That's just a guess. I can only hope that that's how I stood out. This one took a different route. That was very direct. I guess maybe that would be the new art of seduction. I guess if you had to, 'cause this whole book that I'm reading about, a lot of it's sourced from like Renaissance time and King's Court and all that kind of era, and that's like very old school like courtship kind. This is the modern day we're dealing with now. And like the modern woman is very different than the old like very like demure, and that doesn't exist anymore. Women are way more perceptive now, almost like to the level of to the level of men, I guess. How if you want to think of it that way. And they're expecting the game players to come around. They made movies, how to be a player. They know about all this stuff, and they talk amongst themselves. So I'm sure they're They're sharing information. So I guess when someone like me comes around who's not playing these games, is willing to like just express his heart, that's something that catches them off guard. But see, I don't think this is like, um, this is not advice like the average guy wants, anyways. Though I don't think the average guy is out there trying to fall in love. I think the average guy is trying to sleep with as many women as they can until they can't anymore, and then they try and find love. I do it the other way. I fall in love, and then I capture that woman and try and sleep with her as much as I can. That's how I do it. That's all I need. I don't want variety. I want consistency in my life. It's probably because I didn't have a lot of guy friends growing up. Like, my best friend, like grammar school and through, junior high and high school, I had like one good male friend. But even like when I was super young, my best friend was a girl. I don't know. I don't know why I developed into this kind of guy. But here I am. And I do think guys like me are a rarity. Well, let's put it this way, because this thought crossed my mind too. I think guys like me, and this is not to be egotistical, not trying to be big headed, but this is the thought that just crossed my mind. Guys like me, who look like me, are a rarity. Because I think, again, not to be egotistical, I'm not bad looking. And I think if I was the kind of guy that wanted to use all these tactics to get as many women as I could, I probably could have done really well. But I guess the only other kind of guys that are like me out there are less good looking guys, not to be rude. And they really can't get a lot of women because they don't have the obvious visual aspect to their advantage, which I guess I do. I didn't know this until much later in life, to be honest. That's my woman's fault. I didn't know how attractive I was until my woman started telling me that. I didn't know women saw me like that. No one ever really said that. What does it say? Scales closed. Okay, I'm good. But anyways, I don't like to talk about that because it sounds very vain. Talk about how you look. And I guess the first time I really noticed it, I'm gonna keep going. That's funny. First time I really noticed it was when I grew my hair out. So I never realized how attractive long, or at least how it stands out for a man to have long hair like me. Especially right now. Oh no! I see an arrow. Why? Okay, if I don't see anything happening on my exit, I'm gonna shoot straight through there. Oh, there is no reason for this. There's nothing happening on my exit. Oh shit, there's a cop right there too. What do I do? Maybe they left it open. It looks like they left it open. They did, okay. What the fuck are you people doing? You didn't need to do this until way over here. City workers. Fucking A. No one ever accused them of being brilliant. Ugh. Big dummies. So anyways. Alright. I'm arriving to my destination. I don't even know what time it is. I probably made a good time. Usually takes about half hour to get here. Jerry. Got a horse logo. I like it. What the heck kind of little truck that's for, but maybe they do something with horses. I follow this. Speaking of horses, totally random. I follow this guy on Instagram who takes care of horses, like maintains their hooves. Because a hoof on a horse, I don't know if you guys realize this, a hoof is like a gigantic fingernail on a horse. So they have to be cut and maintained, or they grow really long. Especially like domesticated, like wild horses run around and move enough to wear those suckers down, like a dog's nails. They get worn down from natural movement. But if you just have horses, like you own a horse and they don't move around like a natural horse would, that hoof keeps on growing. And you should see what it turns into if they're neglected. I saw like some horses that were neglected, and this guy was hired to come and finally take care of them. Like that hoof grows all the way around, and they were literally walking on hooves that were like, it was disgusting. But anyways, I follow this guy and I watch them like maintain them and fix them. Crazy. I bet that guy gets paid a lot of money to do that. But I don't even know how I started talking about that. Oh, horses! I saw a logo on a car. Anyways, all right, I'm here. Everybody have a great day. Let's do it.